Ezra Pound speaking. Radio Speeches of World War II by Ezra Pound. Edited by Leonard W. Doob. Number 20, March 26, 1942, U.S., B-23. McArthur.
It is a privilege to fight against gentlemen, and the European radio station seems to me to have been as ready to show respect to General MacArthur as they are, and rightly are, to show absolute and utter contempt and loathing for the war profiteers and the gang of unmitigated newts and vermin who have thrown the world into war in the hope of establishing a gold and money lending monopoly and blotting out the good life in 5 continents. They have done this from their lust for secret and irresponsible power, and the place to fight these syphilis bugs is not on the frontiers, but in the center of your own nations. This more than bubonic plague passes over all frontiers, as Dante already perceived. It rots the heart and the soul of the nations. It is silent, ceaseless in its action, and the place to resist it is for every man locally. The means to resist it are local, and by that fact they are hard to bring into coherence. The embezzler, working behind false laws, can mobilize quickly. The farmer, worker, and peasant cannot. The embezzler sets up his papers, dailies and weeklies. That curse of God Wilkie was puffed up by the weeklies. The plague does not stop with the dailies. It sets up publishing houses. It grinds down all private liberty. Economic, fewer and fewer men or groups have the money to run a paper. Every cranny is infested. Every college campus has a bookstore. Look to these bookstores. Look to the last vestiges of approximate freedom of the press, even the scholastic press that gets out small editions. Communicate, and communicate. A plot was outlined years ago to blot out classical scholarship, to blot out the historic sense. It went about on soft paws, making no noise. It was deadly. It worked while the nations slept. A contempt for the Latin authors. The idea Greek was useless. The concentration on innocuous authors. Erotic poems, and not the state of life as shown in the Athenian law courts. The aesthetic angle that the whole of my generation grew up in, all looking harmless, so harmless. America was killed by the kid-glove generation, looked simple. Henry James describes these innocuous flops on the beach at Newport. None of them meant any harm. After the Civil War, the American people was tired. I'll say they were tired. With reason, killed each other off to make room for the vermin. After Cato's death, there was no republic, says some old Roman historian. Perhaps after Lincoln's death, there was no United States republic. Bowers, The Tragic Era. Go read it. Johnson couldn't hold out against the infection. Civil War dragged on with intention. Halleck, why was he general? Or at least why in command? Well, that is old scandal. Can't fight Antietam now. Can't go back before Gettysburg. The very names are forgotten now. Names we, the men of my time, grew up on. But we were being taught to forget, or rather the whole of the history was aimed at forgetting. It was top-dressing, a monotony of military encounters, done with music and banners to keep the nation's mind off the causes, off the real causes, debts of the southern states to the bankers of New York City. My old great-uncle had a wooden leg, went stumping around after Gettysburg. Old Uncle Dot and carry one.
End of number 20, McArthur. Ezra Pound speaking, Radio Speeches of World War II.